All right, so let's get started. We're going to start this off a little bit different than we have before. And instead of me explaining what we're doing, we're just going to start by kind of finding stillness, right? Calming ourselves and centering ourselves. So just sit here for a little bit and find your breath and relax. Feel the air coming into your nostrils. As you breathe out, feel it leaving. Notice any sounds in the background. And don't try to label them, just have awareness of them. All right, and take one more deep breath in and then exhale. And you can open your eyes now. All right, so we're going to start. We're going to draw a card and kind of find a topic to talk about, see what comes up, or not to talk about, but to think about and reflect on for the next little bit. And then after that, we will kind of do a meditation period. And after this video is over, there will be a discussion as well. But for obvious reasons, we don't record anybody that's in the group. Let's see what the card that comes up is. It's a limitation, and it says self-discipline, practice, self-respect, introspection, ritual, cultivate patience, build up energy, maturity. There's a lot that I can say on this, honestly. But I think the one thing that I want to focus on is the word ritual. And a lot of us have rituals or habits that we do on a daily basis that aren't maybe necessarily the most effective or helpful. And when we start to have conscious awareness of the habits and patterns that we're exhibiting and the results that we're getting the results that we're getting from doing these patterns, we can begin to look for possibly better ways of handling these situations, or even just completely not engaging in these patterns anymore. And ritual is the mindfulness of this and consistently applying different skills so we can find different ways of showing up or honor different aspects of ourselves. At least that's how I like to approach it. So, um, in terms of how it relates to limitations specifically, uh, I don't want to get too much into this topic, but a lot of our limits can be from belief and from perception of things. And this daily, investing daily in small things on a regular and consistent basis will nurture or water us past what our current limitations might seem. Um, and we owe it to ourselves to try to expand beyond what we think is possible. And that's just my own personal interpretation of it. Um, as we go through this process, kind of reflect on what that means to you. And uh, think about it if you're watching this after the fact, and write about it. And we can talk about it in the group for those that are tuning in live. And with that said, I'm going to switch the camera now. Oop. Or I'm going to shut the camera off completely. All right, I'm going to switch the camera. And we're going to start with progressive muscle relaxation. You can watch me do the first move and then you can join in the next ones. So start by laying down on your back in Savasana or corpse pose. Hands at your sides, feet apart, flopping to the sides. And you're going to breathe in, kind of tense your leg muscles. This isn't necessarily lifting it up, it's tensing the muscles, and then release, breathe out. I'll do that 2 more times. Breathe in. Breathe in and tense. Breathe out, release. Now we'll do that on the other side. Breathe in and tense. Breathe out, release. Breathe in. And out. And one more. In. And out. So this next one, you're going to clench your glutes or your butt cheeks, whatever term you prefer, on your in breath. And then when you breathe out, you can relax them. So breathe in and out. And in and out. All right, next we're going to do this with our abdomen, and you're going to breathe in and pull your stomach up and in, and breathe out, relax. Breathe in, and relax. And one more, breathe in. Relax. Now we're going to do the same thing with our arms. For this, you're going to tense your arm and breathe in. Relax your arm and breathe out. Tense your arm, breathe in. Relax your arm, breathe out. One more. Then we'll go on to the other side. Tense. And breathe out. Now we move on to our shoulders. We're going to breathe in and scrunch them up by your ears. Breathe out and relax. And again. Relax. And one more time. Relax. For this last move of the progressive muscle relaxation, you're going to clench the muscles on your face, breathe in and lift your head up. And relax. Again. And one last time. Instead of getting up right away, just sit here for a second and notice how you feel right now. And in terms of the topic of ritual or daily habits, if you notice the benefit of how this makes you feel, and this is only a 5 or 10 minute practice, if you were to swap something like this out with something else that took 5 or 10 minutes that didn't make you feel as good as this, you would really be leveraging your time in a way more effective method. Take one more breath in. And exhale. And if you're able to do this next move, I encourage it. If not, don't do it. For any of these moves, do what you can and don't worry about the rest. But we are going to rock back and forth like this on our backs. One more. And then transition into tabletop pose. And again, for any of these moves, just do what feels comfortable. Don't push yourself, don't strain, like don't hurt yourself. So on the next one, we are going to breathe in, lift our heads up. Breathe out, arch your back up. Breathe in. Come into a seated position. And we're going to start by putting our hands behind our head like this and turn to your right and breathe in. Breathe out to center. Breathe in, turn to your left. Breathe out, return to center. Breathe in. And we'll do it one more time because I lost count. And for this next move, keep your hands behind your head and breathe in, dip to the right. Breathe out, back to center. Breathe in, dip to the left. Breathe out, back to center. Breathe in. And we'll do one more of these two. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is some neck stretches. And we're going to start by breathing out and bringing your head down. Breathe in, lift your head up. Breathe out, go down. Breathe in. One more, breathe in. Bring your head back to center. And now we're going to breathe in and turn our head to the left. Breathe out. Turn to the right. Breathe in. And out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Bring your head back to center. And we're just going to do some circles with our neck. Start in clockwise or counterclockwise and just do 3 rotations. Find a nice rhythm to your breath here. Slow and steady, but natural. And once you do 3 rotations, come back to center and then go the other way. All right. I'll just sit here for a second and have some awareness of how you feel after doing those moves. And then we're going to move on to the eyes. For this, do your best. Try to move your eyes slow. For a lot of us, our eyes are probably under more strain than we realize, so these are not utilized very much. So you might not have, it may be more challenging. I know when I started doing these, they were difficult. So um, just don't beat yourself up if it's hard. So breathe in and look up. Breathe out and look down. Breathe in, look up. Breathe out, look down. And then one more time, breathe in. And then breathe out, look down. So the next move is moving your eyes from side to side. And you're going to breathe in and look to your left. Breathe out, move to the right. Breathe in. And out. And in. And out. Now you just want to circle your eyes in either clockwise or counterclockwise 3 times. And then do it the other way. And before you open your eyes, or if you already have shut your eyes again, it's okay. Rub your palms together and build up some warmth. And then gently place your hands over your eyes for a period of time. Just kind of feel the warmth. I forgot to do one of the moves earlier, so we're going to do it now. Somebody wants to join in. Just saw you now, Jocelyn, so you can still join in. But anyhow, we're going to catch up on the other move that I forgot to do. We're going to just kind of rotate and clench our hands and feet, and then go back and do it the other way. And now we'll do it on the other side. This is just a good one for me because I store a lot of tension in my hands and feet. For people watching this or seeing one of these videos for the first time, the thing I would say is we store tension in really weird places. We don't really have any awareness of it until we try to relieve some of it. So for the next move, you're going to stretch one of your feet out in front of you and just kind of breathe and lean into it. And for this, just do whatever comfortable. You don't have to force or push. This is more about kind of easing into it. And this actually is kind of a good time to talk about the topic too, because the topic was limitation, and then also ritual. So for a lot of us, our limitation might be how far we can go currently. But if we were to make this a conscious, regular habit of just showing up and doing this, there will be progress. Anybody who's good at a musical instrument can tell you the same concept of, well, there might be some innate talent. What really makes somebody good is their ability to show up regularly and invest time in it. A lot of us want to be instantly good at stuff, and we think anything that we're not good at, and that's not really true. You just have to pay your dues. And then now you're going to put your hand up or your foot up like this and cradle it and kind of rock back and forth. And I think a lot of times we want our hard-earned rewards for things before we've actually maybe done what's required to have them. And now you're going to kind of come onto your elbow and just rock back and forth. Go the other direction. Ooh, there's a lot of tension up there. This is definitely another area I store a lot of stress. I'm going to do one more round. All right. When you come up, we can start on the other leg. I think one of the challenging things is sometimes we want to dictate what's enough, but sometimes there's outside forces that are larger than us that are kind of demanding more of us than we're capable of, and we have to be willing to, at times, exceed what we think is possible of ourselves. I forget who it was, but somebody talked about they're not afraid of dreaming too big. They're afraid of dreaming too small and getting it. That's why it's very important to kind of be mindful of what you think your limits are. This is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll shut up and just get back to doing this. Oh, wait, we got to rock. There's an expression of if you argue for your limitations, don't be surprised if you get to keep them. And it's an interesting saying. And obviously, there are valid limitations. But I think one of the things, even with valid limitations, if you don't give it your sincerest effort, you don't necessarily know that it's a limitation or if it's just something you're accepting because you don't want to do the footwork. All right. With all of that out of the way, come into butterfly pose. Excuse me. All right. So now we're going to move into the Tai Chi. Get your body position whichever way feels more natural to you. I don't really like to try to say sides because I'll get all mixed up. So just put one of your feet forward, and then when we breathe out, you're going to push forward. And when we breathe in, you're going to rock back, lift your toes up. And then close it out. And if people are seeing this for the first time, on any kind of out breath, we're normally pushing forward. And anytime we're kind of rocking back, we're breathing in and lifting our toes up. one more time. And close it out. Widen your stance like this. Put your one hand on the bottom, one hand on top. And slowly breathe in. Come over this way and go back the other direction. And for this, you just want to find a nice rhythmed pattern with your breathing. We'll go back one more time. And then close it out. Come back standing this way. You're going to make a ball of energy like this. And you're going to breathe out. Breathe in. Close it out. Got your ball of energy on this side now. And one more time. Close it out. We're going to still work with the ball of energy. We're going to start with it up here. We're going to breathe out and in and out and in and out and in, and then close it out. We'll do it on the other side. Breathe out. Oop, I lifted my foot up. Breathe out and in. And one more. And then close it out. We've got one more series of moves in this stance with the ball of energy. And on this one, we're going to start with it down here. And we're going to breathe in, lift our toes up. And then out. In. Out. Close it out. Move over onto the other side. Breathe in. And out. In. Out. Close it out. Take another wide stance. One hand on bottom, one hand on top. And just slowly move to the other side. Turn it around. And we'll do it one more time. Close it out. We're going to turn and face forward again. Start with whatever foot you want. Put your hands up flat like this. You're going to breathe out, push forward. Breathe in, pull back. Breathe out, push forward. Breathe in, pull back. Breathe out, push forward. Breathe in, pull back, close it out. Do that on the other side now. Hands flat in front of you like you're pushing on a wall. Breathe out. And in. And out. And then close it out. This one, more tricky for me to explain, but kind of have one side of your body pulled back and one side pushed forward. And you're going to breathe in and try not to fall like I almost did. And one more. Close it out. Same stance. Breathe in and out. In, out. One more. In, out. Close it out. This is our last Tai Chi move. One hand flat on the other one in front of you like this. And you're just going to find a nice even pattern to your breath here. And we'll go back one more time. And then close it out. Okay, so for this next part, you can either sit down or lie down. I'm actually going to lie down. It's a little bit of a different experience if you lie down. And I have some problems with my center of my back, and if I sit, sometimes it's very distracting for me. So do whatever's comfortable for you. Start by settling yourself. Just focus on feeling your body touching the ground and finding stillness. Listen to any sounds in the background and hear them, but don't identify them. Just observe them. And what I want you to do is start counting in your own head from 10 down to 0. And we're going to count like this. We're going to say 10 in inhale in our heads. Hold it for a second. And then exhale and say 10. Pause for a second. Now inhale and say 9. Exhale and say 9. And carry on down till you get to 0. Now we're going to do a body scan, and I'm going to name a part of the body, and I just want you to identify that in your mind, say the name of that part of the body, and bring awareness to it. It's not attention, it's just briefly thinking about it, and then we'll move on to the next part. And we always start with the right side. Right hand thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, palm, wrist, forearm, elbow, bicep, armpit, side, hip, thigh, kneecap, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe, left hand thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, little finger, palm, wrist, forearm, elbow, bicep, armpit, side, hip, thigh, kneecap, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe, right side of the butt, left side of the butt, lower back, middle back, upper back, right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, back of the neck, back of the head, top of the head, forehead, right eye, left eye, nose, lips, teeth, tongue, chin, cheeks, jaw, neck, right collarbone, left collarbone, heart, upper abdomen, lower abdomen, the whole body. The whole body is relaxed. Just sit here and notice your breath. And I want you to think of what your habits are and what habits you have that are helpful to your life. What are the things you do that are good for you on a regular basis? And I want you to think about what it is about those things that make you feel good. And now I want you to think about some of the habits you have that make you feel good, but aren't necessarily good habits to have, because all of us have them if we're honest. And think about how it makes you feel at times to engage in habits that you know make you feel good but aren't good for you. And for the next thing, I want you to think of somebody else that you care about and how some of their habits that they do to make themselves feel good, how you perceive them as unhealthy, but understand that sometimes we all do things that are unhealthy to soothe us ourselves or to make ourselves feel better in some way, shape, or form. And then also think of that same person and how they likely have some healthy habits that you don't have, that you might be able to learn from them, because everybody has information that we don't. The amazing thing of thinking of things in this way, too, is it allows us to give ourselves some compassion and then also other people as well. And when we start to look at things in that way and understanding that we're all imperfect, it makes it easier to operate with integrity and harmony within ourselves, because it's not about being perfect. It's about putting a sincere effort towards being a decent person. Sit here for a little bit longer, and I want you to think of what is one good intention you would send to somebody who has some unhealthy habits, and it's not to change their habits, but what is one act of kindness or kind thought you could send them, and just accepting them and their habits for how they are, even if they irritate you beyond belief. In this good intention, I want it to be sent without a concealed contract of sending the intention with the belief that you'll get a desired outcome if you do, but just doing it because they deserve the good intention. And now I want you to send yourself a good intention, even though you probably have some unhealthy habits too. Um, and just send yourself a good intention not to change the habit or not to do anything differently. Send it unconditionally to yourself too. Now, for the upcoming week, I'd like you to focus on one habit that you have in particularly that's either, no, let's do it this way. Think of one habit that you do that brings you a lot of great joy and happiness or has in the past that you have not given attention to or invested energy in lately. What's one thing that you could invest, even if it's 1 minute a day? So that's 7 minutes total in the next week, that you could invest time in that you used to enjoy. And for the next one, think of one new thing that you would either like to learn or investigate, or if you can't think of any new thing, just set the intention of investigating something so you can find a new thing that you'd like to explore. It's a big world out there, and there's a lot to be curious about. And when you start asking questions instead of speaking in statements, you'd be surprised at the outcomes that you can arrive at. Or could you? I was trying to be clever, but I failed. And finally, kind of before we head out of this space, I want you to offer yourself gratitude for showing up. I want you to focus on feeling gratitude for yourself for showing up, but then also just for your life as it is in this present moment. Because currently, if we're all sitting here right now, or laying down, everything's actually really okay. Even if it's just for this moment. And when we begin to savor these and bring attention to these moments more, or practice mindfulness of them, we begin to have more awareness of how right now everything's okay. And even when things aren't okay, when we're able to bring ourselves back into this moment, there's a sense of understanding that things will resolve to a peaceful place again at some point. Or at the very least, that we can adapt. Just sit here for a couple more breaths. Make sure that you're keeping your eyes closed in this process too. Take one more deep breath in. Wiggle the feet. Move the legs, the fingers, the hands, the arms, head from side to side. Don't get up. Don't open your eyes yet. Extend your right arm out and gently roll onto your side with your head. Your right arm kind of in the fetal position. Just sit here for a second. Take another deep breath in. Your left hand on the ground and gently push up, keeping your eyes closed. If you can do this safely, put yourself into a seated position. Keep your eyes closed, rub your palms together. Place your palms over your eyes. Take a couple more deep breaths in. And you can open your eyes now. Switch back to the other camera real quick. Okay, so I just want to thank people that show up and have made this part of their ritual. Like this whole thing is my daily ritual. I do this practice every day, and there's great benefit in it. I would highly, highly suggest if you're watching this later, the recorded version of this to come and join us sometime because the discussions afterwards are incredibly helpful. And it's nice to have a community because this can be a somewhat lonely road on personal development, right? So, with all of that said, thanks so much for checking it out. And people that are watching this live, let's get into the discussion.